Now for 2025, we are finally seeing Porsche give the Taycan family some pretty big changes, and they are significant. We're talking about an all-new rear electric motor with more power across the board, 2 all-new battery packs with better efficiency and better range, and some light styling details that you're going to notice on the outside, along with a tech upgrade on the inside. So today we're actually out here in beautiful Sevilla, Spain, to finally take a look at this Taycan, which this one that I'm showing here is the 4S, kind of the mid-trim. And the big question I want answered, has Porsche made enough changes to the fabulous Taycan electric sports sedan to keep this model fresh? Stay tuned to find out. Now, before we start talking about the exterior styling changes, which they are pretty minor, you'd have to park it next to the old Taycan to truly see the differences. I thought I'd pop the hood and show you guys what's underneath here. Now, because this vehicle is built off of a dedicated EV architecture, the Taycan offers a frunk, and it's a relatively good-sized one. Now, underneath the hood, Porsche says there's around 2.9 cubic feet of storage underneath here. You can see it's also nicely sealed off. It's carpeted. It has an LED light in there. And this is a very usable space, especially if you want to put the mobile charger or just something that you don't want flying around in the cabin or in the rear trunk. But since we're underneath here, let's go ahead and talk about the powertrain specs of this model. This is the 4S. It's one notch above the base version of the Taycan. It's got a brand new rear electric motor. The 4 means that it is all-wheel drive, so it adds a second electric motor at the front. And then, of course, the S means it's one notch again above the base, and power figures are up significantly. So with the dual electric motors, the brand new rear electric motor, this vehicle now makes 509 horsepower and 523 pound-feet of torque. That's available all the time. When you guys go into its launch control function, this vehicle will ramp up the power to 590 horsepower. So again, almost 600 horsepower in literally one notch above the base version of the Taycan. This essentially has the same power figures as last year's GTS trim, which is no longer available. I suspect Porsche will bring that back at a later date. And what's unique about the Taycan is it all goes out through a 2-speed reduction gear transmission, or 2-speed automatic. That's on the rear motor. There's also a separate single-speed transmission for the front motor, obviously. But that 2-speed transmission is what makes this vehicle unique. It improves efficiency. It improves high-speed acceleration as well. That's one of the unique factors about this platform. And the battery pack, Porsche says they've also upgraded it. Now, this model that I'm showing you for $5,500 extra has the Performance Plus battery. So that takes the battery capacity up to 105 kilowatt hours. About 97 kilowatt hours is the usable capacity. The base battery pack is now essentially the same size as last year's Performance Upgraded battery pack. So Porsche doesn't have any official range figures for the U.S. right now, but they said this is about 34% more efficient than last year's model. So if you take the range of last year's 4S, which was around 233 miles, times that by about 30%, and it should have a little over 300 miles of range on the U.S. figures, which again should make it very competitive for most of its rivals. The company says this model should get to 60 in around 3.5 seconds. It has a top speed of around 155 miles an hour with the summer tires. Those figures, again, are pretty identical to the Taycan GTS of the previous model year, so that's very impressive. Curb weight of this model is right around 4,900 pounds. And again, this is an electric vehicle, so it has those heavy battery packs. But the one thing about the Taycan that I've always loved is it doesn't feel as heavy as its weight suggests when you're actually driving the vehicle. But let's go ahead and close up the hood and talk about the exterior styling, and I'll talk about the charging when we get to the charge port door. Now, first of all, you can see this vehicle, to me, has always been one of the most attractive looking electric vehicles on the market. What I love about the Taycan is it doesn't scream that it's electric. It essentially just looks like a 911 sports sedan, and that's kind of the beauty around the success of the Taycan. My particular test car is painted in this ice gray metallic exterior. It certainly looks good.